Well, good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill news. I just want to start the day with an announcement. It's with a very heavy heart that I announce that Methods, one of my best friends, my fellow researcher, somebody who works with me here on the program, someone who was up until today going to be hosting that regular show with me on Sundays. Methods is not going to be around any longer. His wife contacted me this morning. He's got some major health issues, and he's going to be unable. He's going to be unable to continue in the work that he was doing. So please, everyone, if I have any more information, I will tell everyone directly here. But in the meantime, that's really all I can say. Please keep him and his wife in your prayers, and I'll keep everyone informed as soon as I have any more information. Hey guys, I want to introduce you to an amazing game that I've been playing for the last several months. It's called Raid Shadow Legends. For those who didn't hear about it when I talked about it before, Raid is an amazing dark fantasy RPG. Everybody's talking about it, and if you still don't play, right now is the time to start, because now it's finally available on PC and Mac. Now, Raid on your PC or your Mac has the same great core gameplay as the Android and iOS versions, but the new PC version has a ton of extra graphic goodies. It's amazing. You have to check out the graphics. They're so incredible. There are so many cool animations and cinematics and control customizations for ease of play. The difference is incredible, and it's really, really noticeable. It's a cross-platform game, so when you install the game on your computer, you can continue playing on your mobile device. So basically, you can enjoy playing Raid anywhere at any time. The download and registration runs really smoothly. It only took me a few minutes. And don't worry, you don't need a super powerful processor or a BA gamer's computer to enjoy the speed and the graphics. And look, you've got over 400 champions to collect and emphasize. So, my favorite champion is Elhain. I like her because she's an elf, she's got an awesome costume, she comes right out the gate with a double attack, and as far as I'm concerned, this is the kind of character I want when I'm playing an awesome RPG like this. If you want to join me, just look for my nickname. It's Marauder78. Shoot me an invitation, and let's start up a clan. The best thing of all is that it's completely free to download and play. The community is super active, and there's already 15 million players in the game worldwide. People are talking about it on YouTube, Reddit, forums, so there's a lot of help to get started. You can start right now by hitting the link in the description below. Make sure you do it with that link below this video, because you're going to get 50,000 free silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program. So I'll see you guys there. Getting on with the show, we've got several different stories we're going over. Looks like Devin Nunes is speaking out about the General Flynn case. There's also been a major development in the courtroom. Also, Vladimir Putin just gave his State of the Union, and his entire government resigned in the wake of that. We're going to talk about what he said. Also, the people behind the fake Russian hacking scam at the DNC are now saying the exact same thing about none other than Burisma. The Russians hacked Burisma, therefore all the information's gone, so we can't get to the bottom of it. Well, whatever. I don't believe that for a moment. Also, looks like Michael Avenatti has been arrested during a hearing, this time by the IRS. And finally, I saw yesterday that Twitter finally caught up with the rest of America, and hashtag CNN is trash was trending. Apparently, CNN was very, very unfair to Bernie Sanders during the Democratic debate, and I'm just wondering where you guys have been this whole time. You just realized yesterday that CNN is trash? Well, this is something we've known for a very long time. Please stick around also until the end of the show, because that's when we will be announcing the winner of yesterday's contest to win a stay at Camelot Castle in Cornwall, UK. Alright guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all today, huge news. Devin Nunes is speaking out about the General Flynn case, and more importantly, the evidence against him. He says unequivocally, we were told in early 2017 by highest levels of the DOJ that General Flynn did not lie to the FBI. Now, this is very important because it comes in the wake of a new development in the courtroom. Now, Devin revealed this on Laura Ingraham's program on Tuesday as they were discussing the latest coup attempt by the Democratic Party, and Nervous Nancy and Pencil Neck Adam. Nunes told the Ingram Angle that Republican lawmakers were told way back in 2017 that General Flynn was innocent and he did not lie to FBI investigators. Now, this is very important because on Tuesday night, the attorney for General Flynn, that would be Sidney Powell, she filed a motion in court seeking to withdraw his guilty plea in the Mueller probe. Now, these corrupt anti-Trump activists in the Department of Justice continue to get away with their lies and smears and horrific legal attacks of Trump's supporters. When is the Department of Justice going to clean house? I think this is a fair question to ask Attorney General William Barr. Now, I know that there are things going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to. The actions to remove these people may be in place. Perhaps this entire thing is a sting operation, and that's why it hasn't been taken care of yet. I don't know. We don't know. But I do think it's fair to ask Attorney General Bill Barr, when are you going to clean up the DOJ? Because if that doesn't happen, you're going to have a lot of angry Americans come 2020, because this needs to happen. We sit by and patiently await as these supporters of the president are railroaded and stuffed into a courtroom before they are finally pumped out into the U.S. prison system. This needs to stop, and this must be taken care of before 2020, because without that support for the president, there is going to be a lot of people who might just not even vote come 2020. Now, I'm talking about this because I want to implore all of you to please make sure you are not one of those people. Voting in 2020 is probably going to be one of the most important things you've ever done in your life. Without President Trump in the White House, we would not be where we are today, and we would not continue to move in that direction after the 2020 election. I do believe that President Trump and his people in the Department of Justice and in the rest of his departments, they are going to do what's necessary. And I know that right now it is frustrating, but I think that Sidney Powell filing this motion is a good step forward, because it's going to prove that these people lied, that they tried to frame General Flynn. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at the video from the interview, because Devin is always on point and he gives great intel.
Mike Flynn has withdrawn his guilty plea in court today due to the government's bad faith, vindictiveness, and breach of his plea agreement. What else can you tell us?
Well, we knew from early on in 2017 that Michael Flynn did not lie to the FBI. We actually put that in our report. It didn't come out until 2018 after Flynn had already pled. But there were several of us as witnesses. We also told the highest levels of DOJ that we had been briefed by the FBI that Flynn didn't lie to the FBI.
Didn't Peter Strzok come out from that meeting with Flynn, and he didn't think he lied?
Well, interesting you say that. There's missing documentation that we've never received. And then to add on further to that, well, I want to make sure everybody understands this. We put it on a report, okay? And some of the things that General Flynn is saying in what he gave to the court today, withdrawing his plea, he's saying he's been treated unfairly. Remember, we put this on our report in 2018, and for some reason, it was redacted. We had to fight for what seemed a couple months in order to get that unredacted. So, we're witnesses here too. We were briefed by the FBI that Flynn didn't lie. And, I just don't see, he needs to withdraw the plea, and I guess, some of us need to speak on his behalf. Since the FBI should have this information.
Vindictive prosecution, withholding exculpatory evidence. That's a real no-no, along with fudging stuff at the FISA court. So there seems to be a pattern of misbehavior.
And remember, we alerted the FBI and DOJ too.
This was all, you had a lot in your report that has all been vindicated. Congressman, hey.
That right there is what I think has been going on. Vindictive prosecution and withholding of exculpatory information. Did we need to get to this point where the leftovers from the former administration in the DOJ digging their heels in, doing whatever they could to vindictively prosecute General Flynn? Did we need to get here so that someone like Devin Nunes could come forward and say, put me on the witness stand. I am a witness. I was briefed at the highest levels of the FBI and the DOJ with the information that General Flynn did not lie. He did not perjure himself. And if he goes and testifies in court, what does that mean? What does that mean for these U.S. attorneys, for these people in the DOJ who are trying to vindictively prosecute General Flynn? Well, that, my friends, is certainly grounds for removal. And that right there is what I think we have been working up to this entire time. These people broke the law. They abused the system to try to frame an innocent man. And now Devin Nunes is liable to come forward and speak on General Flynn's behalf. Right there. That's what we've been doing. All right, coming up next, breaking news. The entire Russian government has resigned after Vladimir Putin gave his State of the Nation address. Now, Vladimir Putin, much like President Trump, is vilified in the national press, but I think you're going to be surprised at what this State of the Nation address contained. Now, the entire Russian government has resigned in a surprise move shortly after Vladimir Putin delivered his annual State of the Nation address, and this was announced by Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev. Now, Putin has accepted all of the resignations. He thanked everyone for their service and asked the ministers to remain in office until a new government can be formed. Now, also from Medvedev, he said the resignations are in accordance with Article 117 of the Russian Constitution, which states that the government can offer its resignation to the president, who can either in turn reject or accept them. Now, he did, as we know, accept them. Now, during the speech, what Putin said was he intended to create the position of Deputy Secretary of Russia's Security Council, which would be offered to current Prime Minister Medvedev. Now, in that new role, that would mean that Russia would, of course, get a new prime minister whenever that new government is formed. But Putin also proposed multiple amendments to Russia's constitution. These proposals would entail substantial changes to the constitution as well as to the entire balance of power, the power of the executive, the legislature, the judiciary. Now, in this context, it's obvious that as the government, we must provide the president with a capability to make all decisions, which are required to implement this proposed plan. Now, you would think, given the global characterization of Vladimir Putin, he would be coalescing power. He would be putting more power into the office of the executive. Well, ironically, he's doing the exact opposite. Now, what this new plan would allow for is the lower house of the nation's legislature, the Duma, will be granted the power to appoint the prime minister and the rest of the cabinet. Fyodor Lukyanov, editor-in-chief of the Russia Global Affairs magazine, told RT that the change will be a step towards the diversification of power, and this is at a time when the country is being increasingly governed in a manual control mode and fully fixated on the president. So what Vladimir Putin is doing is actually spreading the power around to other areas of the government instead of keeping it there in the executive office. So I actually think that this is a really positive step forward for Russia. I think this is a positive step forward for Russia's position in the global community, and I do believe that in time, the Russian government will be put back together. But as it stands now, everybody's going to remain where they're at, and I do believe that they will continue to work hand in hand with President Trump for the good of the global community. All right. Now, I believe we touched on this the other day, and the story is that CrowdStrike, the same farcical corporation that claimed that the DNC was hacked by the Russians, they are now saying that Burisma is actually been hacked by the Russians as well. So there's an update to this story, but this time we have proof that they are lying. Now, on Monday, the New York Times mentioned that Russian hackers from the military unit known as the GRU successfully targeted Burisma Holdings, the Ukrainian national gas company that Hunter Biden was paid millions of dollars for as a board member. The attacks were successful, according to a Silicon Valley security firm told the Times. Now, according to the New York Times, the Russian hackers began targeting Burisma's server in November as House impeachment hearings were in full swing. Right. Well, the paper claims that the hackers were searching for potentially embarrassing material against Joe and Hunter Biden. Again, it's pure BS. Now, of course, we knew this report from the Times and the Mueller report are both complete crap. Now, there is zero evidence that Russians hacked the DNC server. Zero. In fact, there's evidence to the contrary. Now this, the firm behind those latest accusations is actually called Area 1 Security, and it appears Area 1 has a lot in common with CrowdStrike. Now, Area 1's co-founder is Blake Darch. Who is Blake Darch? Well, he happens to be a founding member of CrowdStrike Securities. Of course, CrowdStrike is the same firm that claimed Russia hacked the DNC computers during the 2016 election, but was never able to provide proof of their claims, only innuendo and smoke and mirrors. On Tuesday, internet sleuth Michael Sheridan put together several more pieces to this puzzle. Now, apparently this is from his series of tweets. On Monday, the Washington Post reported Burisma was hacked by Russians in a phishing scheme. The reporter that is breaking the story was Ellen Nakashima. On June 20th, 2016, the Washington Post broke the story that the DNC was hacked by the Russians. The reporter that broke the story was Ellen Nakashima. Blake Darch is a co-founder of CrowdStrike with pal Dmitry Alperovich via InfoSecurity. In fact, when Blake joined Twitter, Dmitry and Sean Henry, the president of CrowdStrike, were the first two people he followed. Look at that. Now, 2 months after Ellen Nakashima reported her shenanigans with Henry and CrowdStrike, she did a new article with Blake Darch. Sheridan concluded, "Yesterday, the moment I saw GRU, I knew this was somehow tied to CrowdStrike," and Sheridan called it out as BS. The GRU did not hack the DNC or Burisma. This is pure CrowdStrike propaganda. What is common in every story is Ellen Nakashima from the Washington Post. Well, maybe we should do a little digging into Ellen Nakashima. And here we have Ellen Nakashima's Twitter profile. I urge you, do not follow her. Go ahead and look into her tweets and the things that she's digging on, maybe the people that she follows, because we might find some very interesting things. But yeah, oh, look at that. She follows none other than Lisa Page. I'm sure there's a bunch more familiar names in here that you guys are going to find when you go ahead and take a look. But how curious. How curious that Ellen Nakashima has these direct ties to CrowdStrike and to this new company which is connected to CrowdStrike, and she broke the two stories of the century. The fake story that the Russians hacked the DNC, and now the fake story that the Russians hacked Burisma. Wouldn't you know it? Burisma's been hacked, and now there's nothing left to give to the United States regarding Hunter Biden and Joe Biden and their dirty dealings in Ukraine. Well, guys, something tells me this is not the last we've heard of this story. All right, now we started out the program bemoaning the fact that nothing's being done about the lies on the left. Well, fear not, my friends. Democrat darling Michael Avenatti was arrested and cuffed by IRS agents during a hearing. Now, attorney Michael Avenatti was arrested and handcuffed on Tuesday by federal agents during a break in a disciplinary hearing in Los Angeles. Avenatti was removed from court by the federal agents for the IRS. He did not return to court when it resumed. Always pay your taxes. This is something that they will get you for. Once a hero of the left, Michael Avenatti has found himself in numerous legal battles. Federal prosecutors in April charged him with defrauding the woman he made famous. That would be Stephanie Clifford. And it wasn't long ago that Michael Avenatti was the darling of the Democrat Party and their media mouthpiece. Ana Navarro even told Avenatti to his face that he reminded her of the Holy Spirit. You can't make this stuff up. We got to look at that.
Lately, to me, you're like the Holy Spirit. You are all places at all times, right? I mean, I see you all over cable news. I see you, there is a seat available if you want to be a co-host at The View. You might, there's people here you can pitch. He'd make a great lady around the table.
Michael Avenatti, most likely to resemble the Holy Ghost. I wonder if that option to come on The View again is still open and on the table, Anna. I believe that Michael probably would really appreciate it if you called him. You got to accept his calls collect, but you can send him as many letters as possible. And I know that he's going to need some money put into his prison commissary, because it is not a fun place to be when you're in prison. And the only thing that makes it better is those Twinkies that you get to trade with the people who are your bunkmates, so they leave you alone. Maybe there's some other stuff that Michael can do to ingratiate himself with the population there. But Anna, you're going to have to be there for Michael, because he was there for you on The View. Well, guys, as I said at the beginning of the video, please do keep Mr. and Mrs. M3 in your prayers. I also just got some disturbing information from Thomas at TruReporting. He's been hit with a second copyright strike, which has locked him out of his channel for 90 days. Now, apparently this is for streaming OWN's stream of the rally from last night. So the best thing that I can think to do is for all of us to go to Twitter, to go to OWN's YouTube channel, and ask them directly to please remove the strike against Thomas. He has committed to make sure that he doesn't use their streams again in the future. He thought that he was doing a good thing. He thought he was trying to promote the president and at the same time promote OWN as a fledgling news channel, but apparently they did not approve of him using their stream. So I think that we should all take to Twitter, I think that we should all take to YouTube and ask that OWN remove this strike from Thomas, because if he gets a third one, his channel is gone. And as it stands right now, he cannot produce any videos for 90 days. That is the death knell for a YouTube channel. Please keep Thomas in your prayers as well. Let's all rally behind him. Hopefully, I'm going to be going to visit Thomas very soon. We're going to be doing some streams live from his home base. And if you guys don't see him before then, you will certainly see him there on my stream. So everybody, please support Thomas, support Methods, support Mrs. M3. And as soon as we get more information about any and all of these things, I will be bringing it to you here on this channel. All right, now one last piece of business. We need to choose the winner for this Camelot Castle video. I just want to say thank you one more time to John Mappin for coming on the show to do this interview. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of people reach out to me and say that they really, really enjoyed it. I know that I did as well. So John, I'm sure we're going to have you back on the program to ask more questions in the future, and I'm looking forward to that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the replies. We've got 424 Patriots that entered the contest. All right, and chosen at random is Francis, 19 hours ago, gave us the correct answer, which is Sir Galahad. Francis, please do reach out to me, redpill78@protonmail.com, and put in the title of the email in the subject line, say contest winner, and I will put you in touch with John Mappin, and we will get you that stay at Camelot Castle. Thank you so much to everyone who entered, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a heart. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, it's Red Pill. Just one more thing. I just want to say thank you so much to everyone who has taken the time to support this channel. If you'd like to see some ways that you can support the channel, you can always check the show notes in the pinned comment of this video below. Whether you like, whether you share, whether you make sure that your notifications are on, any way that you support this channel means so much to me. I could not be doing this without you, and I could not do it without your help. Without people like you, this channel would not exist, so thank you so much to everyone for all of their many means of support. Don't forget to check out the merchandise store that is also in the pinned comment, and I will see you guys next time.